We're out and about and staying busy as usual, and we've decided we have just enough time to squeeze in a question and answer video.
We get a lot of questions and we really enjoy answering them.
Viewers often ask us, do you both drive, or does Susan drive?
And the answer to that is no, absolutely not. I've never even driven a car pulling any sort of trailer at all, much less a long bed truck pulling a 40-foot fifth wheel. So I definitely do not feel comfortable driving the fifth wheel when we are towing, although I did do it once for 10 feet.
Yeah, you did really well too. I think you do well anyway. It just takes a little getting used to it. You just don't have the practice, but I think you do well.
I think it's safer if I don't practice.
Well, we could try.
So the next question is, what is the most difficult part about driving this size of a rig?
Well, for me, you might think it might have to do with the length or making turns and maneuvering and things like that, but actually it's really not that stuff. For me, I guess it's just the thought of something going wrong on the back burner of my mind. It's not ever present in the forefront of my thinking, but it's always back there as a what if, you know, something goes wrong or we break down or something, and maybe that has something to do with the fact that we have before.
Yeah.
So that kind of haunts me just a little bit. It doesn't ruin my day or anything, and I manage it, but I'd say that's probably the biggest thing. It's just, you know, things that can go wrong on the road.
Yeah, that's always a stress for me. Since I'm not driving, I am navigating, and unfortunately for me, and have had some difficulty with some of the mapping programs from time to time, and if I don't give him enough notice to make a turn or something, it ends up being quite an issue.
Well, it works out in the end. We get where we're going,
yeah.
But usually the issue is that a lot of the things that are on the apps and stuff are made for sports cars and stuff like that. But you know, we know that there are RV GPSs and all this stuff. You know, we've been through all that type of thing, and we manage quite well, and we even use satellite imagery and everything. But yeah. Those things I guess are about the worst of it.
Yeah, I'm getting a little better.
A good question that we've been asked a few times, surprisingly not as often as you might think, is do we get good cell service?
Overall, yes, we generally do get good cell service.
Yeah, it's been, we're in our 9th year now, and we've been using the same carrier. I'll just tell you, it's Verizon. Not a commercial for Verizon. We find that any of these companies, the less that we have to deal with them, the better off we are. Things seem to go better until we have to call them.
Yeah.
So we just hope for the best all the time. I would say that the cell service has been exceptional in comparison to when we talk to other people, other travelers, family, friends, that type of thing, that have a different carrier, and we still have cell service at these spots that we like to go. It works out most of the time. There are times when it doesn't work at all. We've been places when we don't have any cell service, and either does anyone else, except for one exception.
Yeah, I think we've only been one place where we didn't have service and one of the other carriers did. But for the most part, if there is service, we will get it. Yeah,
they had service because there was a tower with their name on it right in the park. So that helped quite a bit. But we have talked to other carriers when we've either been disenchanted or curious, and they have given us their spiel, and then I said, well, okay, would I have service here, 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 and here? And they said, I'm just going to be honest with you, no, you won't. And I said, okay, well, when you do, let me know.
Yeah. The next question is, how do we deal with crowds, since we do visit a lot of popular destinations?
Well, our general way of dealing with them, as you can imagine, is to try to avoid them. But since we are going to popular destinations at times, it's largely unavoidable. But we do try to do off times and early or late and that type of thing. Whatever it takes, we do consider it pretty much all the time. And one of the reasons for that is the noise level just tends to be over the top, especially in places that you would consider, or at least we consider, places that should be more quiet, sensitive wildlife areas, pristine wilderness areas where you're trying to not only see it but listen to the sounds of nature. And you just got people screaming and running around and throwing things. We've even had people using air horns in wilderness areas just to communicate with one another. It's just been a little bit annoying at times, and people on their speaker phones.
That gets me a lot when you're, you know, watching some wildlife or something and someone comes up right behind you on their speakerphone talking about, you know, where they're gonna go have lunch or whatever. It's, you know, it does disrupt your experience. And
yeah, it's a little inconsiderate at times. And you know, we find this that I think the more that people get into video, maybe that'll help a little bit more, because if you're taking a picture and somebody's just going behind it and all that every single time you take one, then they might get the idea of what it's like when you're doing a video clip of the sounds of nature and they're screaming and yelling things that are very out of place. So anyway, it happens, so we try to avoid that at all costs. Is the way we handle it for the most part.
Unfortunately, sometimes you just can't, and we just do our best to deal with it.
Yep. Here's one that we get quite often. What one piece of advice would you give to those who are considering full-time RV living? Oh, that's a really wide topic. We have thought about it quite a bit. I personally just keep coming back to the thing that hikers say to one another and to others, imposing things on them, is hike your own hike. And in this case, it'd be drive your own drive or live your own life or something along those lines. There's people living in cars, vans, truck campers, pull trailers, converted this or that, schoolies, ambulances, fifth wheels, motorhomes, all over the board, and it's wonderful. We just absolutely love that, and we're intrigued by every single one of them. We just enjoy seeing that, especially when it fits the people that are using it. It's just wonderful. Our way is not their way is not our way. One day it might be, one day it might be for them. Their family grows, whatever. There's all kinds of different things to consider. You just got to make sure that it's what you really want to do.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice, I think. And for me, I think one thing that I always caution people that are considering living an RV type lifestyle is do your best not to accumulate too much stuff. You really got to stick with the something comes in, something goes out, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed by stuff in a small living space. So that's something that we constantly struggle with, but I think it's really important to keep in mind if you're considering this.
Yeah, the two areas that I think that we do well in that, and I don't know if any more, but is our clothing, because we only have so many hangers, and we committed to that to begin with, that if we didn't have a hanger for it, we weren't going to buy any more hangers. So that means something goes out. And then the other thing would be the refrigerator. If it doesn't fit, we don't put it in, you know, so we don't get it. Those are two simple things, but it is a really great point, because it is an ongoing thing, as you can imagine, in any lifestyle, any way of living. You know, you can just get too many things. Of course, it's always better to have things and own them than them own you. So if you keep that philosophy, then it helps. We not only love receiving your questions, but we enjoy answering them. If you have one, leave it in the comment section of this video.
And please remember to share, subscribe, and click on that little notification bell.
Thanks for watching. Well, we've come to a fork in the road.
So what do you want to do now?
I don't know, but let's get the fork out of here.